Hey sister cousins, welcome to my channel. I'm Lady C and I'm here to tell you how I feel. Like and subscribe if you're new and run it up in the comments. Let me know you stopped by. Now, dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to talk about Interview with a Vampire Season 1, Episode 4.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so girl, let's go ahead and get started. So today's episode is titled A Ruthless Pursuit of Blood with all a child's demanding. We start today's episode. Daniel is on the phone with, it seems like, his editor or agent or somebody. And once he gets off the phone, girl, the house manager, Rashid, is like, girl, listen, we have some things arranged for you, some health care provisions that we have set up for you. And Daniel's like, wait a minute, girl, I didn't call a doctor. He's gonna have the people come in and check on him and make sure he's good to go, because you know he has that disease. He shows him over to the reading room, and now we see all of the journals that they have collected over the years from Claudia. Once he opens up the journals and gets the party started with reading Claudia's point of view, we now are in the very beginnings, the origin stories of how it all began, right? So as Claudia is kind of zoning in and out of, consciousness, girl, she is describing Lestat as this, not Lestat, Louis as this black angel, and he's carrying her over to his house, and she's like, I ain't never been in nothing nice like this, girl. This is real nice.
Ooh, this is nice, girl.
So whole time, Louis and Lestat are arguing like, well, girl, what you want to do with her? And he was like, well, girl, I want you to turn her. And he was like, well, girl, listen, just dispose of her. Remember, Lestat is still mad at what he said on last episode, girl, talking about he gonna be lonely for the rest of his life, girl, read him down for filth. And now you bring this child up in this house trying to fix this little relationship. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Louis desperate, and Lestat genuinely wants him to be happy. So he's like, all right, girl, I'll go ahead and turn her. So he goes on ahead and turns her, and she was like, oh, this white angel, which I thought was an angel, but turns out, girl, they two little demons. So she turns into a vampire, and now the training gets started. Lestat is the unorthodox maniac teacher, and Louis is more of the nurturer, the one that's like, you don't have to like humans, you can do animals. Like, they have two different perspectives, but when she asks where she's from or who she is, they explain to her, listen, girl, you a vampire, we a family, we ain't got no secrets, but, we could do a little telekinesis, but Lestat is out of the group chat because, once you are the maker, you can no longer hear the thoughts of the person you made, right? And Claudia's like, okay, girl. So they carry on like a nice little happy family, or so we think. So during her first day in vamp training, girl, she singles out this officer. Louis thought that she wasn't gonna go for it. Turns out she's a girl after Lestat's own heart. Girl, she perfect for Lestat. She is literally taken to vampirism as what Lestat had hoped for Louis. But girl, Claudia is, passing all the tests with flying colors. Something that we're supposed to pay attention to is that the officer said, you're not a girl, you're a devil. And that's something that carries on later on in the episode, but we gonna stay right here. Girl, Claudia is an unhinged baby vamp. She is extremely hungry, extremely unorthodox, extremely all over the place, non-regulated emotions, because she's a child, she's 14 years old. So girl, she really does bring an essence of fun and, a little bit of chaos to the family that they have created. She does clock the tension or the toxic dynamic between Louis and Lestat. So girl, they went on ahead and went coffin shopping. Claudia was all excited to get her little coffin and everything like that. So it's like a cute little, little trio, little barely throuple, if that's appropriate. Claudia is a very introspective. She talks to her books, which is their version of she's writing in her books. Lestat is driven crazy by that fact. But she does clock in on the fact that Louis and Lestat are hunching, and they are a little couple. And she was like, well, girl, how does it feel to love, a man? Louis was like, well, girl, it's the same as anything. We loving on each other just like I would love anybody else. And no, I don't fool with females anymore. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to each their own. From time to time, Lestat be, carrying on with the, little cat on the side every now and again. And she was like, well, is that what Louis be? No. Is that what Lestat be doing when he be off on his own? And here come pick me Louis. Like, nah, he don't be doing that. He just be out hunting because, you know, I don't like to eat humans no more. And so he be trying to be respectful. Whole time, she's picking up on the fact that he's probably out here cheating. So they have a little bit of a heart-to-heart. And Louis tries to explain to her the consequences of different types of vampire tactics when they have their victims and what consequences they bear. And his teaching method is a lot more nurturing versus Lestat is more like ruthless and kind of all over the place. So Daniel decides to take a little bit of a break, and he happens to hear music playing in the background, and it's Rashid in the other room praying to Allah, that, or so we assume. And girl, Daniel can't help himself but be a little a-hole from time to time. And girl, he's poking at what his religion is versus what he said to him the other day, calling Louis a god. And so Daniel was like, well, girl, you said that you follow what religion? I thought you were a native of Dubai. And he was like, nah, girl, this is different. Like, it's something else. And he was like, well, where is that origin from? And he was like, girl, you doing too much. Like, you asking too many questions. Like, I need you to go back in the other room and finish your job. And so Daniel goes in the other room and finishes his job. Whatever conversation that transpired between them, you could tell that it kind of intrigued his interest, but he lets it go and he gets right back into the story of Claudia, into a new diary. So Claudia is now writing in her brand new pink journal. She's very happy. She got a new bedroom. Everything seems to be going perfectly. They're hanging out, playing games, just doing a whole bunch of family stuff, family vibes all day, right? But then they get a phone call, and it just so happens that Louis' mom has gone to glory, and they decide to go down to the funeral or the wake. And when they get to the wake, girl, Claudia is staring at the body like, ooh, girl, I ain't never seen one of those. And she's saying this out loud, and Grace is standing there like, ooh, girl, like, who is this child? And she was like, oh, girl, you know, Louis is my daddy. And he was like, yeah, I adopted her. And she was like, oh, girl, do you think you should be out here parenting people right now? Like, girl, you barely taking care of yourself, girl. Like, I really don't trust you with children, okay? You left my child on the floor. You remember that? Yeah, you remember that. And so they get into this little tense discussion about transferring the home over to Grace and her husband. And Louis is like, okay, girl, you doing too much and you getting beside yourself, because she was saying a few little remarks, and the husband, once again, thinking that he tough, you know, trying to back her up. And I understand that, but girl, you do not know what you up against, okay? And so Louis is like, girl, stay in the little sister's place, like, quit playing with me, all right? And it's just tense. It's awkward, it's tense, but you know what? Louis was like, girl, I'll see y'all later. Let me get this little girl up out of here before she say something stupid, and then I have to explain or, you know, take a few lives or whatever. So they get her up out of there. He gives her kisses, and then they go ahead and bounce. But I'm never going to forgive Grace for calling Lestat his white daddy, because that was kind of funny. I ain't going to hold you. But, girl, they go ahead and leave, and Lestat, Louis is like, girl, I can't take you out nowhere, Claudia. You do not know how to behave around humans anymore. Like, girl, you need to be more social, because you are cutting up and carrying on, all right? I didn't raise you like this. Well, he kind of did. Or Lestat. I don't know, girl. And Lestat is like, I don't know what you're talking about, girl. She's perfect. Like, she's everything I ever wanted. So, of course, Daddy Lou is Claudia's favorite, but Lestat and Claudia have a special bond because they're kind of on the same wavelength. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Lestat takes Claudia out on a hunting trip by themselves, and he teaches her the subtle art of hunting when they go to Lover's Lane. And, girl, it looked like a scene out of a horror film, okay? It literally looked like boyfriend gets chomped on, and then here comes the screaming girlfriend, and Lestat is like, ooh, girl, you my lunch too, so let's go ahead and dig in. You know what I'm saying? So now, Miss Mamas is now a little over 18, and she wants to change up her little wardrobe. She's like, girl, I'm grown out here. Like, it's time for me to, you know, shake up the table a little bit. So she gets a different outfit. She decides she's going to go on a little solo hunting trip. And she gets outside, and girl, she overhears some very bigoted, disrespectful comments coming from a group of women across the street. She's so mad, she's ready to pounce, but then she almost gets her head knocked between a washer and dryer by a horse, And girl, the driver saves her life or whatever. So of course she was frazzled by the encounter, but he really did save those women's lives because she was about to really go in. But anyway, girl, she looked at him up and down and was like, "Ooh, I wonder what kind of time you on." Girl, she was smitten instantly. And he gave her a little ride home. But baby, when I tell you she was crushing hard, she was crushing hard, okay? It just so happens that Charlie drives by the house every day when he's working. Every time he drives by, she's waiting out on a balcony. And girl, they had their little exchange. And baby, when I tell you she is crushing so much that she is losing her appetite because she's really, really into him. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, when you lose your appetite, that hunger starts to rev up in you. And now, you know, some things might happen. But anyway, we'll get there in a second. So Louis finds out that she's crushing on some boy. And he was like, "Who is Charlie?" But then she started to block his little thoughts from coming in. And so, girl, she's running around giddy. They finally get to a little date. They have an ice cream. And he's so sweet, very respectful. And it's just like, I'm thinking at the time when I first watched it, like, ooh, they gonna have a little partnership. Like, she gonna turn them into a little vamp. And it's gonna be a little cute little little group of four. And girl, first of all, he thought that she was younger than him because, of course, she looks like a little 14-year-old girl. But turns out she was like, "Well, girl, no, I'm grown. I'm 19 almost. Okay, don't play with me." He was like, "Ain't no way you older than me." And she was like, "Yeah, girl, like, I'm older, so put some respect on my name. The family, you know, black don't crack, so we look good, you know what I mean?" They get to the car, or the back of the car, and girl, they get to kissing and smooching and everything. And girl, when I tell you, Claudia got too carried away. She was like, you know, hot and heavy, and he was getting hot and heavy, but you know, his heart was thumping, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, the little horny in him was, you know, peeking through. And so, girl, he was like, "You don't seem like no girl, you seem like an angel." And baby, that's all she needed. She went in for the kill on accident, all right? Girl, she done fooled around and drained that man dry. And now she done took him back, his lifeless body, back to the house. And now Louis is, you know, feeling empathy for, but Lestat, he is a real live asshole. You could tell he's laughing on the inside, and he's like, "Yeah, that's what happens when you do too much. That's why we don't get close to these humans, okay?" And Claudia is devastated. But what really got it was when Lestat made her burn him and made her watch and was like, "This is the lesson of never to get too close to a human," okay? And girl, when I tell you she was broken, she was broken. So of course we cut back to Daniel, and girl, he says Stephen King meets Anne Frank. Girl, I gagged, okay? Because he is a little jerk too, okay? Like, he is always saying something really, really snarky. But him and Louis, because Louis done showed up, you know, because he was tired, so he had to take a little rest. But now he's back in action, and they're having a little talk. And he's like, "Listen, why didn't you bring all these diaries before?" And he was like, "Well, girl, would you bring up the fact that you failed your daughter? You got kids too, don't you?" And he was like, "All right, touche, you right." So Louis continues to tell Daniel that era was a very dark time in their family unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that family was shattered after that moment, and something in Claudia changed. And their little happy front of a home was now a very dysfunctional, unhappy home after that. But the real punchline is when Daniel said she was a band-aid to a shitty marriage. And I was like, "Daniel, now why you have to say all of that? You know he feeling down. You just love to kick somebody's back in every time, okay?" But anyways, girl, like I said, Claudia was unhinged. She's like, "Girl, I'm finna be on demon time. Like, F everybody. I don't care about nothing. Like, all y'all." And that's the end of the episode. So, girl, I was so sad to see that poor boy go. Because he called her an angel, girl. Because she did mention, like, "Girl, my first victim called me a devil. And my last victim, unintentionally, was somebody that I loved, and he called me an angel, girl." But very, very good episode. Like I said, or if I haven't said it before, girl, I'm going to say it now. Vampire, Interview with a Vampire never misses, okay? Just a phenomenal show. you must watch. If you're new to this channel and if you're new to Interview with a Vampire, please, I encourage you to look at my other videos covering this. It is such a good show, and I will be covering this all the way up until they air the 3rd season. Both seasons, all the way through, all right? So, like and subscribe, hit the notification bell if you really about that life. And girl, talk to me in these comments. If you're new, welcome. If you're old, welcome back, girl. And let's talk about it, okay? But I'm gonna call y'all back later. Bye.